This is Brian Arn with another episode of the Black Wealth Experience, as well as the Real Estate Spotlight podcast. And so the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight contest. And so just excited that we get to come together every week and sometimes even more than once a week and just talk about the experiences of Black wealth and what it takes to get going in not just Black wealth, but in this industry. There are a lot of crazy things that have been going on for the last year or so. And I think people have been just curious onto what continues to go on and why we're at where we're at and what does inflation mean and how does this whole market with, I think we had this fire sale on interest rates for, the last 4 or 5 years, and people thought that was going to last forever. And then all of a sudden it's not, and it does. And so today I have Delilah on, and I can't wait to, you guys to get to meet her and to see exactly what it is that she does in this industry to make, this world work. For folks that are getting into homes, and that's kind of what's so important, because we believe that the entryway into whether it's personal wealth or generational wealth, the entry gate is through home ownership.
Exactly.
There's just so many different things that can be done in order to enhance home ownership or to take home ownership to the next level that are happening here. And so, Leela, thank you for being on today.
Thank you for having me.
Sometimes, feels like, hey, he's going to interview me like we're getting into a job or something. And it's not that. We get to have a conversation every single week with some of the best. And that's what I really love to do. It's not just, I'm just pulling people out of the hat just to do interviews with it. It's really the folks that are going after it that can make a difference in your life. So, Delilah, you kind of talk about, just introduce yourself, what you do, tell people how to get a hold of you, and then we'll move on from there.
It's Delilah Palacio. You can call me or text me directly. My number is 303-895-8284. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My tagline is at Delilah Sells Denver. So I'm on that across the board for just about every social media. That's how you get in contact with me.
That's great. What is it you like best about what you do and how you interact with folks in this here market today?
Well, I know this sounds pretty cliche, but I love helping people to achieve the American dream. So I know everybody says that, but what I love about real estate is that every day is different. Every person is different. Every buyer is different. Every seller is different. And so you just kind of never know what's going to happen throughout the real estate transaction. But I really love helping people, regardless of what that situation is, and helping them become homeowners, sell their home, or get them to the closing table. So another thing that I'm actually working with now is, this is for the first time, is that I'm working with a vision impaired buyer. And for the first, it's very interesting. Like, I really had to look at things from their perspective. So it's been a learning opportunity, but I love helping people. And so I love helping get this buyer into a new home.
Well, cool. Well, tell us about your background a little bit. What got you into this industry? What is it that, what did you do before or after, or not after because you're doing it now, but what are the things that got you going into this world?
Well, real estate has always kind of been in the background. I was raised in Chicago, and my father, when I was growing up, had a brokerage there. I remember as a young person, so he was a real estate agent, and then he ended up having his own brokerage, and then he got into investing, and so that's what he still does now. And in the meantime, I had my own business. It was a online business, and I had it for about 20 years. And so I was kind of getting bored with it, and I wanted something else. And so I wanted to do something else. And so I called my father and talked to him, because that's what I normally do when I have business questions, whatever. So I called him. I was like, hey, I'm kind of over this. I want to do something different. So he was like, well, why don't you get your license? And I was like, okay. And ended up getting my license in real estate, and the rest is history. Here I am. So that's what happened.
Well, Delilah, it's impossible that unless you had like a lemonade stand when you were 12 to do 20 years, because I know you're not that old, right? We say that all the time, about doing this industry. But what is so cool is, the amount of people that you get to help and the amount of
Right,
people that you get to interact with. And when we
right.
think about, this whole thing of generational wealth and this whole
Hmm.
thing of wealth and realizing there are people that don't, whether it's through lack of education or just a belief system of where they're at. And I know you said you're from Chicago, and I know that's one of those states where there's a lot of folks where people of color have not been able to move forward, whether it was redlining
Right.
or project
Hmm.
housing that came through, in the 70s, that really, more than any of some of the other cities in America, that really had an issue with separating and segregating folks from
Hmm.
the opportunity
Right.
from this thing called home ownership. And so, how are some of the ways that you navigate when you have buyers that are looking for, or you're trying to sell somebody's house that are looking for this thing called home ownership, and walking them through this process that seems to be so encumbersome? What are some of the things that you do?
Well, I think first thing is through education. Like you said, some people don't even realize that they can afford to be a homeowner. Some people are just on that rent cycle. I call it like that rent, that thing that rat is on, and he just goes around and round and round, and they don't know how to get off of it. So, what I like to do is just educate people and say, hey, you're paying this amount of money in rent. Have you ever thought about being a homeowner? And some people, it's interesting because of what you said about us. We come through a generation of not being able to own property. And so if you didn't see your parents own anything, and if they didn't see their parents own anything, then sometimes it's just a thought that doesn't come into their mind that, hey, I could be a homeowner. And so sometimes it's just as simple as that. It's just educating them and saying, hey, if you are spending this type of money, being a renting in Denver, then you can possibly be a homeowner, and then just kind of do the figures with them, or even send them to someone like yourself who's a lender and say, hey, roll the numbers for this person because they could possibly be a homeowner.
Yeah, it's so amazing when you really start thinking about how much it costs to rent.
Hmm. Yes.
At $2,000 a month for an apartment, that's $24,000 in a year
Right.
that you're giving, to a landlord. If you stay in that apartment for 10 years, it's $240,000
Right.
you've now given another person for the ability to live. And
Right.
we know that we're going to pay to live. And, in this day and age, I think it's like the best time ever, at least from the lending side, to get people in the homes. There's so many different programs that are out there,
Yeah.
whether it be $1,000 to get in, or it's a normal down payment of that whole 20%. I don't hardly know anybody unless
That
they're
makes sense.
selling a house and
Right.
moving to a house
Right.
for the first time that puts 20% down
Right.
to get in. But somehow in our mindset we think, yeah, 20% down is what I have to have.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody who comes to you, like what does somebody get when a Delilah shows up and they call you and they go, I've never done this before. What do I do? What's some of that process that you go through with them?
Well, first of all, I they get honesty, they get integrity, they also get education. Like I have an affinity really for first time home buyers, and so I love to walk them through the process of home ownership and how do we get from A to closing at the table. As I remember when I bought my house for the first time, like I was a first time home buyer, and I literally was just looking for houses, and then I was at the closing table. Like I didn't know like what is going on. It was just like a whirlwind. So what my buyers would get from me is a like an advanced course of home buying, and by the time that we're done, by the time they get to the closing table, they feel confident and they're able to understand the home buying process. So that's what they get. I just am really honest with my buyers and sellers, and um, they get information, and I give them the tools that they need necessary to possibly. There's this is probably going to be the most expensive thing they're ever buying in their lifetime. It's the most expensive thing. So I give them the tools to make the decision for their personal, for them and their family, basically.
How do you pull, like, people don't know what they don't know,
Right.
and that's one thing that I've kind of noticed, when I'm doing loans and I'm trying to find the best loan that fits out. I have this plethora of different projects or products that I have
Mm-hmm.
that I can offer, and if I share this one with them and say, or this one, or this one, then it kind of educates them.
Right.
One of the things that I see with folks that are looking for a place is,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you know exactly what you want,
Right.
and sometimes
They
you
don't.
just think you kind of know what you believe, what maybe you saw it on TV on a
Mm-hmm.
set or something, or you
Right.
were driving by a house and saw it. How do you pull those dreams out of people, that they really want to be able to find out exactly what it is that they want?
Well, that's a great question, because a lot of times before I will work with the buyer, and I'm going to say buyer because that's I'm working with one right now, so I have that immediate experience. But a lot of times, people really think they know what they want, and so at the beginning, I will give them exactly what they're looking for. So they'll say, "Hey, I want this, I want that," and I actually have them do a buyer's questionnaire. And
Okay.
so they'll fill it out, and then I'm like, okay, so first of all, it has to be based upon of what they can afford, right? So I'll start there, and then I'll ask them a series of questions. And so as we start to look at properties, then what happens is that I kind of see what they really like. And a lot of times people will say what they like, and then we start to view properties, and what they end up buying is not necessarily what they will have on that buyer questionnaire. So as a agent and as a broker, one of the things that's part of my job is to really pay attention to what they're looking at when they walk into a home, like what catches their attention, what they like, what they dislike. And then usually by a couple of showings, I can usually say, okay, this is what you like. This is what I'm noticing. This is the type of layout that you like. So it's incumbent upon me as an agent that to represent them, to also kind of, get a feel for them as customers and what they like and what they dislike. So that's usually how it works for me.
Yeah, I've seen some of the agents that I've noticed that don't do very well. They kind of
Hmm.
just open the door and go in and then come out and tell me what you think.
Hmm.
Or they stand outside. Where I think it is makes so much sense. Like what you're saying is to pay attention to
Hmm.
those little things that you hear them say,
Right.
or the little things that they look at and say, "Oh, this room's too big," or "This room's
Right.
too small." What do you do with the buyer who just has this sense of not understanding how something's worth? Like they can afford this, but they want to keep asking you for something that's in Southeast Aurora that's $900,000 or something like
Oh,
that. That the big
well,
lot they could. Yeah.
well, here's my thing. If you, I don't really take anyone out until they've been pre-approved.
Okay,
All
perfect.
right. So we are not looking at a $900,000 house if you've been approved for $300,000 house for 300,000, because if you see a $900,000 house, no $300,000 house is going to compare to that. So the first thing is, be we have to be realistic, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I mean, like we just have to be realistic. Like, I'm not going to take you out. So it's just that's just to me, that's how you calm the expectations, and you just say,
There we go. I like
yeah,
that. I like
it's
that
like,
how you say that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like we can't. I mean, if you can only afford a Toyota, you know, you
Why are
can't
you at
go
the
out.
Mercedes lot?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, we can drive a Mercedes, but a Toyota is never gonna feel like a Mercedes. So that's
Exactly. Well, and that's one of the things that I know really good agents as yourself are able to say, okay, this might be where we start, but
right,
that's necessarily where we end, and that
right,
if the $900,000 house may not be right now, but we're probably not going to get there if we don't start somewhere. So
exactly.
let's get you into a
A
place
house,
now.
exactly. Right.
And well, I just want to save up, or I want to wait till interest rates get down. And
Yeah.
for you, what do you think is the best time, to buy a house, or in your thought process, or to get into something?
You know what? I get asked that question a lot by people like, hey, is this a good time? Is this not a good time? And so my answer to people is always, I can't really say that in terms of what you have to go by what works best for your family and for your personal circumstances. And I always tell people, don't try to time the market. If this is a time for you to get in the market, get in the market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's another question that, and I'm sure it comes up often, and it comes up,
Mm.
as I'm dealing with folks. Sometimes just our culture and our community,
Right.
where family is always part of showing up, and
Mm-hmm.
there's some kind of family that don't know that are kind of the naysayers,
Mm-hmm.
believe that it's possible for their brother, their sister, their cousin, their auntie, their uncle to get into a home, and so as they're walking through a house, they're doing, oh, you ain't gonna be able to get this. You can't afford this. This isn't for you. How do you deal with that dynamic of, yes, I know you love your family, but we did a pre-qual. You're qualified.
Right.
We can
Right.
get you to the house.
You know, I really haven't had that experience, to be honest with
Okay.
you. I've never really had that experience because most of the people that I've dealt with have been husband and wives. And so,
Mhm.
they've been qualified. Um, I really haven't had that experience,
Oh, that
not,
is so awesome. If
yeah,
you
I
haven't had to do with
really
it,
haven't. I mean, I've had people. Actually, one of my clients, my buyers from last year, was a younger person, like in his 20s, and I thought I was going to have to like. I was like, okay, he's gonna have his parents really involved in this, and so I have to be, cognizant of that. But it was actually the opposite. Like he didn't want his parents involved in anything. He's like, I am doing this on my own. I want to be independent. And I didn't see his parents until they came to the closing.
oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That is neat. What would give me like an example of a client that you helped, that you kind of walk through the process, and then just maybe you can find a way to express their feelings when the transaction was all completed.
Oh, wow. So, there's been a couple of them, but I think like you're asking for like that buyer story.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had a buyer that contacted me through social media, and they were coming to Denver. They were selling a house in another state, and they needed to buy a house in Denver, and they were going to be here for the weekend. So, and it was just the wife had came, and so it was during 2017, and 2017 was hot sellers market. It was multiple offers. It was you can set up a showing, 5 showings, and then on your way to the showing, you'll find out that that house is already under contract. And so I had to get this customer under contract within the weekend. So what happened was that I ended up showing her about, I don't know, about 18 houses in 2 days. She was staying in an
Ooh.
Airbnb. It was a lot, but we had to hit the ground running. She was staying in an Airbnb. I was picking her up across town. She wanted to be in the Cherry Creek School District. So I would go pick her up, show her houses, and then take her back all the way to Highlands Ranch because she was looking at houses in Aurora.
Hmm.
So on Sunday, I found a house for her after I'd showed her like the houses that she wanted. I showed her, I found a house came on the market. I'm not sure what happened or why it was on the market, or we may have missed it. The house came on the market, and I told her, I'm like, hey, there's a house that I think you may be interested in. So I ended up, before I had to go all the way over to Highlands Ranch to get her, I was like, let's just do a video walkthrough, first. So I went, did a video walkthrough. She loved it. I tracked to Highlands Ranch, picked her up, came to see the house, they put an offer on it. They're now celebrating their 5-year house anniversary. I can't explain to you how happy they were. They actually do not live that far away from me. And just they were so happy at the closing table, and they just so happy to be in Denver. So that's like one of my favorite stories to tell. And just the feeling that you get of just helping someone, get into a home. It's wonderful. I
Yeah,
really can't.
that's so cool. And what I hear is that you showed her 18 houses of the ones that she thought she wanted,
Right.
but it took 18 houses for you to figure out this is what she really wanted,
Right.
and then be able to find that actual house for her.
Right.
So that is cool.
And get her under contract. And get her under contract in such a hot seller's market.
Oh gosh, yes, and so quickly to be able to do that. That is amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, Delilah, we're coming to the end of our conversation here. I want to make sure that you tell people again how to get a hold of you. The best way to get a hold of you. Go ahead and do that, and then maybe if you have any closing thoughts that you would love to share with anybody, that'd be great as well.
Well, sure. So once again, you can get a hold of me on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn at Delilah Sells Denver. I'm also have a website where you can get in contact with me at delilahsellsdenver.biz. And I just have a passion for home ownership, especially building wealth in the Black community. And just contact me anytime. I'm here to help.
Oh, that is so cool. And again, one of the things that I want to make sure that we want, both Delilah and I want you to know, is you can do this. When I say that, I am serious.
Yes,
if
you
you
can do
are
it.
thinking about owning a house, you can do this.
Yes.
It may not be today.
Right.
It may take a little bit of time to get you qualified and that kind of stuff, but you can do this.
Yeah.
The next thing that we want you to know is you deserve this.
Exactly.
This is part of what it means to live in our country, to live in our city, to live in our state, wherever it is. You deserve to be able to have the piece of the American dream and not beholden to a landlord and that kind of stuff. And then finally, the big thing is I want you to know that you need to use us. We are here. Let us help you. That is the part that I think that is the hardest to ask for, but the most important to ask for. And the reason that I'm doing this podcast is so that you can meet people like Delilah. You can say, I get with her. I understand her. I think I could be friends with her. I think I could work with her. That's what we want to convey here, is because if you don't call us, we can't help you.
Exactly.
And so it's so important that conversation and that phone call be made, because like I said, you deserve this, and you can do this. And so Delilah, thank you again for being on here with me today, and I will get this out and make sure that everybody is able to get a hold of you and look at it. And I'm encouraging you to give her a call. Let her find you a place, because that's her job and that's what she's really good at.
Right.
And let us as professionals be able to help you walk through this process. It's not as hard as you think it is, and the joy that you get from being able to do that is fantastic. So you guys have a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you on the next one, and we will talk with you soon.
Bye.
This is Brian Arnold, and if you are listening to this part, you've just watched one of our episodes of the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight, where we've just talked to one of the best of the best. And I want to thank whichever guest that was here. They are phenomenal. They are amazing. They are the top of the top, the best of the best that are in our industry that are here with us today. And so I encourage you to please call them, pick their brains. They work for you. They enjoy working for you. They are incredibly good at it. And so I want to make sure that you give them a call. So whoever you listen to, whichever one you saw that you were there, please do that. The other thing is everyone deserves a home. Everyone deserves a home. I say that at the end of my show. You deserve it. Let us help you do it. My goal is to make sure that we see homeownership. It just sickens me to see apartment complexes continue to go up, because I know those are people who haven't been able to make the call or figure out a plan. So let us help put that plan together for you. I have some websites that allow you to do that, and I'll put those in the bottom, but please do. I am a lender. I do work in the lending space. If you do not already have somebody who's pre-qualified you, I would love to be able to have that opportunity to earn your business and qualify you. My number is 720-682-2223. That's 720-682-2223. Give me a call anytime, and I would love to be able to help you with that. We also do living trust. And so when we think about an estate, to try to avoid probate and make sure that doesn't happen. So whether it's you, if you own a home, and you should have a living trust. And I will say that everyone not just deserves it, everyone needs a living trust if they own a home. And then finally, just wanted to thank you for watching these episodes. And so please tune into more. Would love for you to see and be able to shop around. So thank you for doing that. Again, I want to make sure that you know that you can do this. You deserve this. And let us help you make it happen. You guys have an awesome, wonderful, awestruck, incredible day today.